I'm ready to go, Stacy. I'm your guy. Josh, how are you?
Good, Phil. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. I just wanted to ask you about just kind of building confidence in a quarterback, and especially a young quarterback like Mac. Did you feel like um, this past weekend's game was important as far as that goes? I know Mac's a confident guy, but just looking at that particular performance, um, did you feel like he needed something like that as you're getting into these games? Obviously, we're looking at the postseason here soon, where everything's ratcheted up a little bit more.
I don't know. I don't think we need anything. I think what we need is to practice well and then, see the fruit of your labor show up in a game on Sunday. I don't kind of go back and forth with the whole are we or are we not a confident team. I think we're confident when we perform well. And so the only way to perform well is to prepare hard, practice well, and then perform well. And then when you get those results, naturally from good positive results, you gain confidence as a group. And then sometimes if you're fortunate enough to string together those results again and again and again, then the confidence continues to grow. So I think you're responsible for your own confidence level based on how hard you work and what you do with your performance. And, we were fortunate to be able to play and do some good things the other day. And now it's our responsibility to do it again this week in practice.
Great. Thanks, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Next question, Dakota Randall, followed by Evan Lazar.
Hey, Josh, on Kristian Wilkerson, what are some of the things he's done behind the scenes, on the practice field that enabled him to take advantage of that opportunity that he had on Sunday?
Yeah, start with his attitude. He was competitive all spring, all summer, trying to make our team and our 53-man roster, and did some really good things in the offseason. He grew a lot, and then has continued to just work his butt off and has a great positive attitude. He'll do anything to help the team, gives the defense a great look on the scout team every week, gives the special teams a great look on all the special teams, scout teams every week, and then is ready to go and rotates in and takes reps with us throughout the course of the year, has always done that, and he's ready to go. He's shown that he knows his material, and then he goes in there and he capitalizes on his opportunity in practice. And so the best way to show, any coach that you're going to be ready for your opportunity in a game is to do it every day in practice. And Kristian's attitude has been fantastic. His work ethic is awesome. And he really does a lot of things that you like in a player and a young player, and continues to try to strive to improve. So not surprising that he went in there and knew what to do and did his job well, and made some plays for us. And he'll be the first one to tell you there's room for improvement from what we saw in the game. And now we'll work hard, and I know he'll work hard to try to make that progress this week.
Great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Next question, Evan Lazar, followed by Jim McBride.
Hey, Josh, how you doing?
Good, Evan. How are you?
Good, thanks. I wanted to ask you, as you get later into the season, and now obviously with you guys clinching a playoff spot too, do you ever kind of wait to unveil certain things until the stakes kind of ramp up a little bit later in the year, whether it's a personnel grouping or a play design or something like that? Or is that more not something that you guys really focus on?
I think that's a great question. I would say that you don't. I'll tell you that we never wait. I know that because you could wait and never earn the opportunity to use it. So to me, you do anything and everything you can in order to try to win the game, whatever you feel best about doing, that gives your players the best opportunity for success. That's what you would do. But we've always kind of, you always think that, at this time of the year, if you're able to, if there's something a little different that maybe hasn't been scouted forever, that, somebody could kind of use against you or you use against them to potentially give yourself an advantage. That's always something that, you're looking for. It's not always easy to find, Evan, because, they have a lot of tape on film too, and you're trying to look for tendencies, and sometimes they protect themselves too. But if you can find something, at this time of the year that you haven't done, a million times and the other team's probably not practicing, then the most important thing is you execute it well. You could give yourself an advantage, but holding things is not something that I've ever tried to do, where I got a list on my board of great things that'll give us first downs or touchdowns, and I'm not going to call them until a certain date. We don't do that.
Got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Next question, Jim McBride, followed by Mark Daniels.
Hey, Josh, is that a new Christmas hoodie you got?
It is, huh?
Yeah.
It was a great show. I love it.
So I wanted to ask you about Trent Brown and just what, him being back in the lineup for these last half dozen games or so has meant to that offensive line. And what's it like for you when you see him out in space, a big man moving the way he does out there?
Yeah. Trent brings a lot of energy, toughness, confidence, to our group offensively. I know the guys love playing with him, love being in the huddle with him. He's a physical guy and an athletic guy that can do some things from his skill set, and his size that, some other guys can't do. And so, we've been able to get him out there on the edge, and, the rule without the defensive backs being able to cut the linemen this year on those plays has been an interesting thing for us to see on a week-to-week basis in terms of how the defenders are playing those things. So Trent can move, obviously pretty well for his size. And when he gets out there, it's not easy for somebody to get around him or to quote unquote play the block, because normally he outweighs them by, I'd say, probably 2 times their size in most cases. So, the other day we got him out there on a few things on the edge. And then the backs love being able to try to, set up the block and cut off of him. And he does a good job of trying to cover his guy up. And nobody's happier for the success of the team when we have it than Trent is. And you can see that with his enthusiasm after each play.
Thanks, Josh.
Yep.
And next, Mark McDaniels, followed by Bob Sosi.
Hey, Josh, ball's going well. I wanted to ask you about Ivan Fears. I asked Bill about him the other week, and he said that Ivan's helped out the offensive coordinators in New England for a while. In which ways has Ivan helped you, and in which ways has he impacted you as a coach?
Ivan's, he's been around me obviously since I started here, and I have obviously a close personal relationship with him, and then obviously a close working relationship. He's been a source of great wisdom for me for a long time. He looks at things and has a perspective that I may not have because I haven't seen as many things as he's seen. I go to him and ask him for his pulse on the team and in our group, and he usually has a great, honest answer and good feedback. He's an invaluable source of information, both in terms of strategy, preparation, attitude, emotion, energy, and he senses it really well. He's got a great sense for what the team may need at a certain moment, and he's obviously very willing to give us his opinion. And he's beloved, obviously, in our room and in our building. He's helped a lot of players become better over the course of their careers. I know all the backs would say that, and certainly other offensive players would say that. And he certainly impacted me in my career and my life significantly with how unselfish he's been with his time, his experiences, sharing those with me, which obviously are vast. And, like I said, he's got so many more games under his belt and seasons under his belt, and understands some of the things that he's seeing a little differently than we do. So, hugely important to our success and a critical relationship for all of us. And he's a dear friend for me too.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Next, Bob Sosi, followed by Mike Giardi.
Thanks, Days. Happy New Year, Josh.
Happy New Year, Bob.
Appreciate it. Speaking of New Year, you faced Miami to begin the new season, and now you close out the regular season with the Dolphins. And Devin McCourty, I think yesterday, said that playing against Brian Flores' team is like playing against us. As you've seen them develop defensively, and obviously they've had a good defense under Brian, but especially this year of late, what have you seen as emerging characteristics of them?
Yeah. The first thing you see is they got good players at all three levels, and they have a great blend of youth and experience. They've definitely gotten faster over the course of the time. They've brought in some guys that can really run and hit on defense. The scheme is very multiple, as everyone knows and has been widely reported about. It's very multiple. They give you a lot of different looks. They're not afraid to pressure and max pressure and see if you're able to handle those types of things during the course of the game. They mix up their coverages. They're going to play man. They're going to play zone. They're not going to show you their hand most of the time before the ball is snapped. They do a really good job of disguising. And there's always going to be some element of new to the game plan when you're preparing for them. So it doesn't matter what you're practicing this week. There's going to be something that you're not practicing that they're going to unveil for you and your team. And so it's a great challenge. In many ways, it reminds you of a training camp practice where you just have to follow your rules and you have to trust yourself and your teammates. And so I think that's going to be a big part of our week is we got to see it for what it is. And we got to be able to try to do what our rules would tell us to do, run or pass. And we're going to need to handle the volume, handle the pressures that they bring to us, and then handle all the different coverage variations that they play off of it. But they're obviously very well coached. I have a deep respect for Brian, for Josh and their staff and what they do. It's always an incredible challenge to compete against this group, and to play down there in Miami is just an added element for us, as we know. And so we're excited for the challenge.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make this the last question. Mike Giardi. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Josh, how are you?
Good, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing well. I wanted to ask you, last year at the wide receiver position in particular, you didn't really have an explosive type player. And I know that was something that you guys addressed in the offseason. I'm just curious what Kendrick has allowed you to do offensively because of that, his quickness and he gets the ball and it just sends like a jolt through the entire team. If that's been able to unlock some things for you guys this year.
Yeah, he, all our guys that we didn't have last year that we brought here, I think have added a new element in some way, shape, or form. KB is, the thing that stands out for me about Kendrick is when he gets the ball, it's almost like he plays at a different speed, and I've had some players play like that in the past, but when he gets it, he's definitely looking to go vertical and try to get into the end zone or certainly make as many yards as he can. And he runs with an aggressive style and kind of a recklessness that you love to see in a player as long as he takes care of the ball, and that's something that he's done better and better as the year has gone on. But he definitely is a guy that can make yards with the ball in his hands. He's not the only one, but he certainly has impacted our team and our games in that way this year. And so as many times as you can get it to him and let him have some space to work, those usually end up as positive plays for the Patriots. So he's definitely been he's been fun to work with. He obviously, as you know, has a tremendous amount of energy, and that's all the time. He's like a light switch that never goes out. So it's fun to be around him, fun to coach him, fun to be around him in walkthroughs and meetings and practices and games, and you always feel like he's ready to help the team win. And so you just, as many of those guys you can have, the better.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, you got it.